I feel like these have been starting with, and there comes a time in everybody's life, because there does. It, you you talk about the records that shape you, and more more directly when we're doing these, it's records that you find perfect. We've only done like a couple of them so far. You haven't heard the only one that's come out so far when we're recording this is Brian's, but I've been obviously a part of two other ones. And the neat part, Anderson, so far is just hearing how everybody's criteria is different. Like everybody has a different qualifier and quantifier as to what makes a record perfect. So I want to start there. Tell me what, as you're putting your top 10 list together here. I mean, maybe it isn't a top 10, maybe it's just a perfect 10 list. But what makes an album perfect for you? Like what is it that draws this high praise for a record for you? And I'll get out of the way. Floor is yours.
For me to get into contention, I have to own the record on several mediums. If I haven't had it on CD and vinyl and digital and cassette, if it's old enough to qualify for that, it's probably not going to make my list. And the second criteria is probably the simplest. If you're talking about 10 perfect albums, I have to not be able to name what the bad song is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that hurts a little because there are some fantastic albums where there is one song that I just don't like. And so I threw it out of contention.
Yeah. That'll do it.
And that's where Brian and we come close, but we don't quite match up, which if anybody has heard an episode of the show with Brian and I, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, before I get into this, I wanted to do just a little brief background so people understand why I make the decisions that I make, because it's been said before, Anderson can definitely do some stretching exercises. Um, so kind of a musical history for me, and I didn't have a great childhood growing up, so hopefully this doesn't trigger anyone. I remember being 6 or 7 years old, hearing something on the radio and turning it up. Like the first time I remember, hey, I like this song, and I turned it up a little bit. And we're sitting in my dad's car, and he actually slapped my hand away from the knob, turned the radio off, and told me, we don't listen to that music here. That's black music.
Ugh.
And went on a whole tirade. He didn't use the word black,
Ugh.
but that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the funny thing, it was Paul Simon.
What the? Okay.
So anyway, fast forward about 5 years, and I borrowed some cassettes from a friend of mine at school. I'm probably in fifth or sixth grade. I come home from school one day, and my dad and my stepmom got my little tape player sitting on the dining room table with these big smirks on their face, like, oh, we caught you this time. You're in such huge trouble. And I have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but they're sure they got me on something, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we want you to play us a song. We want you to play this song, Nature Trail to Hell.
Oh my God.
Because they didn't know that Weird Al is not satanic at all.
Oh my God. I was just gonna say, are you kidding? Weird Al? They
So,
were trying to get you in trouble with Weird Al Yankovic? What in the?
yeah.
Oh my God.
And so I got in such huge trouble because I'm just laughing about it.
Oh my God.
And that pissed them off more because they didn't do the homework.
Yeah.
So anyway, combine those two and the fact that we were not like wealthy people by any means. So I have an older stepbrother. He got to whenever we go to a place with music and we were allowed to buy a CD or a tape or two, he always got to pick first because my music was stupid.
Hmm.
And that gave me a really bad bias towards things that are insanely popular.
That some things are starting to
Because,
click. Okay.
yeah, so, it would be he would get a Bon Jovi tape and I'd be stuck with the Poison,
Uh,
something like that, and it's like, I love Poison, but then we would get home and I would have to listen to how much better Bon Jovi was than Poison. Like, my band is great, your band is terrible.
mm,
So it gave me an appreciation for underloved music and kind of a disdain for anything that sells zillions of copies. Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand. Um, and I said all that to say this. This is my top 10 albums. Um, if you think your top 10 is better, you're right. You're getting the idea. Um, it doesn't make mine bad. It just makes mine.
Perfectly said.
And with that, let's get into it. I'm going to start with an honorable mention. I wanted to put this on the list, but to be honest, I don't know it well enough. It's not the kind of album where I can name one song if I hear it. The rest of it is just it's good stuff, but it's not why I listen to it. I have a bit of insomnia, and this is the album that I've glommed onto lately, and it helps me fall asleep. Not that it's not boring, it's just relaxing.
Mm.
And that album is Beach House's Bloom.
Oh, more on this off mic. I'll talk to you more about this
Yeah.
off mic.
Yeah. Coincidentally, the second episode of Deprogrammed I ever listened to.
Ah, okay. Frank and Josh, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, Cracker being the first, and then this was the next week's episode. And I'm like, oh, Beach House, I know these guys. And from here, we're gonna start at the top and work our way down because my number 10 is gonna be problematic for some people.
Oh boy, can't wait.
More on that. More on that later. Um, so number one, and the first time I listened to this album, I can remember it vividly, which is I think a prereq for it being your favorite album. Um, I have some cousins that live about 3 hours away, and they came down to my grandma's house. They brought their CD player and a chunk of CDs, and I'm like, hey, I want to give this one a try. So I grab it, I go into a different room by myself, and I'm just listening to this. And I didn't even make it through the whole album. I got to track 5, and I think I put that thing on repeat. I want to say 26 times.
Wow.
And I knew the radio songs, and well, 3 of them anyway. And yeah, it just it hit me. And then once I got past the 26 times of listening to that song, I listened to the rest of the album, and I'm completely blown away. I thought it was the most perfect thing ever. The band has gone on to do another 11 albums since then, and I would still put them in my top 10 just based off of the first one. I have 17 of the records on vinyl right now,
Mm.
and it's Pearl Jam's 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the song being Black, it was the first time I ever heard that, and I had just had a breakup, and holy shit.
Mm.
um, number two is not going to come as a surprise to anyone who's been listening to me this year. It's The Refreshments, Busy, Fuzzy, Big, and Buzzy.
Yeah.
And if you would like to know more about that, please find our episode.
Yeah, just a couple months back at this point by the time this comes out. The Refreshments minisode.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great album, and I go into it deeply enough there that I don't feel I need to do it twice.
There you go.
So moving on to number 3, and this one's kind of a fun one too. This is an album I loved their first album. I thought it was great. It's not very universally loved these days, but at the time, I thought it was fantastic. And then the first single came out from the second album, and I hated it. I didn't give this album a chance for 25 years.
Hmm.
Not until they popped up on a TV show, and I'm like, well, this song is great. Maybe I should give this album a try. And I did, and I'm like, well, I've been stupid for a quarter of my life. And it goes into the 90s Britpop phenomenon. If you guys remember that, in the mid 90s, there was this whole thing about who's the next Beatles. Is it Oasis or is it Blur?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Verve came with Bittersweet Symphony, and everyone's like, oh no, it's the Verve. And the whole time, Radiohead was staring us in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And while they weren't Britpop for long, Pablo Honey is definitely Britpop. But the album of theirs I love the best is The Bends.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was so down on High and Dry for it not being Creep that I never gave it a shot.
That's wild. But also,
And
I kind of get it.
yeah, and eventually I did give it a shot. And yeah, that immediately shot up my list.
Planet Telex.
Number four, oh, Planet Telex, Fake Plastic Trees,
Mm-hmm.
My Iron Lung. I mean, it's just, they didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
A lot of people will say, okay, computer. And I have two words about that album: fitter, happier.
I love Fitter Happier. But I get what you're saying. That's
It takes me completely out of the
yeah,
album.
I get you. Like that's if you're gonna take it out of perfect contention to you, that's what does it.
Yeah, yeah. Everything outside of that on OK Computer is fantastic. You guys are right. Surprisingly, I can't stand Kid A, and then I've kind of started coming back around with Amnesiac and Hail to the Thief.
Hmm. Okay.
Well, we'll jump to number four. Um, Number four is kind of a funny story. Um, so I did Columbia House. I want to say my senior year of high school.
Hell yeah. You still owe them money, by the way.
I'm sure I do, and so does a few of my dead pets. Isn't that how you do it? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when I did it my senior year, I didn't click the right box, and I got CDs instead of cassettes like I meant to.
Mm.
And yeah, I was in a place where I picked up my mail on my lunch break from school, saw that I got 8 CDs instead of 8 cassettes, and just cut the afternoon classes, went to a different town, bought a CD player.
Hell
'Cause
yeah.
I wanted to hear these bands. And so for a lot of days, I would just listen to these 8 new CDs I got and play Super Nintendo. And it ended up being a thing. And I think the game was like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, just one of those stupid side scrolling, insanely difficult Super Nintendo games like they used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would set that to Stone Temple Pilots Purple.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Whenever the game was over, I had to restart the album.
Mm-hmm.
And being insanely stupid hard, I was restarting the album a lot, so that when I finally did get to the end of the album, I thought it was a huge accomplishment and was permanently attached to all the songs.
Well, yeah. I mean, if
Oh, yeah.
you're getting like everything on repeat before you've even really had time to ingest, like truly ingest the record, yeah. But also,
Yeah.
what an album to do that with.
Yeah, it ended up being a really good choice.
Yeah.
Okay, number five. I'm going to do a little table setting here because I want to see how this works. This band was like a first ballot rock and roll Hall of Fame headliner. Their biggest releases came in 1987, 1991. In between, they did a kind of a filler album that was part live, part studio. The lead singer is very outspoken with his opinions, and it's probably cost the band some fans over the years. Their lead guitar is, he doesn't even have a single name, he's a word.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was debating between the 87 and the 91, I decided to go with the 87 album because I thought the B-sides were stronger. And one of the songs has just one of the most beautiful, iconic guitar openers ever. And Justin, I'm going to ask you, which way do you think I'm going with this?
It's Guns N' Roses. Um, I always forget the name of the records. But I can envision it in my head. For the record, folks, I've already done an episode today, and it's 10 a.m. as we're recording this, so my brain isn't exactly awake.
Okay, well, here's the curveball. It's U2's Joshua Tree.
Oh, okay.
While I was doing the research, I found all these parallels to Appetite for Destruction, and I just had to let it play out.
Yeah,
The
that's what,
song in question is Where the Streets Have No Name.
man. I mean, obviously you got me, but like,
Yeah.
I never, those parallels would have never, I would never would have thought that. Like Edge slash, of course, Bono, Axel, and then just the years. The years is the thing that I never would have gotten to because I'm always bad with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing what a parallel they had.
That's crazy.
But Joshua Tree is definitely a better album. I mean, there's every song on that thing could have been a single
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe should have been. So that is the oldest album on my list. Which, I was expecting everybody to think this was going to be chock full of 90s, but I do have a little bit of range. Um, Speaking of, we're going to go to number 6, and this is yeah, it's considered on a lot of lists one of the best albums of 2013. Um, it's this band's third album. Got kind of a different sound than the first two. It's more mature. They spend a lot of time wrestling with themes like morality, or not morality, mortality,
Mhm.
disillusionment with the world, and faith. And it's the answer to the riddle, what do you get when you put a Romanian, an Iranian, and Scott Baio's cousin in the same room?
Mhm.
And the album is Vampire Weekend's Modern Vampires in the City.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and again, every song on that is really good. This is partially my wife's fault. This is a theme I'm going to hit on a few more times. You get married, and there's this new person you're sharing your life with, and it kind of changes your taste in music.
Hmm.
I mean, high school Justin would have never been talking about Hanson.
For real. Not in
Yeah,
not in a positive
and
manner.
no, and I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I got married the second time in 2014, and the whole time we're dating, I kind of found myself shifting away from Metallica and into Mumford and Sons.
Mm.
So that
That's love.
2010s indie alt kind of folk rock has a special place for me. And that song or that album is one of the best examples, I think.
Mm. Never dove into Vampire Weekend. I mean, they're on the list, but we just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, well, we will because I'll never let it go. Let's get to number 7 here. I don't want to take all day with this. Number 7 is going to surprise a lot of people. It's a 90s album by a 70s band.
Oh.
And it has a pretty constant theme of communication and how bad communication can lead you to losing people. And there are some beautiful lyrics, there's some beautiful guitar work, as you would expect from this band. I think it's got one of their best songs ever, and Take It Back. The song Lost for Words has a line in it. I opened my door to my enemies. I asked, could we wipe the slate clean? And they told me to please go and fuck myself. You know, you just can't win.
Wow.
And then another lyric I wanted to call out was on the song Coming Back to Life. And it basically is starting out saying, you know, like, where were you when I was going through all this shit? And at the end of it, it's when you were hanging yourself on someone else's words, dying to believe in what you heard. I was staring straight into the shining sun. Which I thought was just, that hit me really hard. The album is The Division Bell by Pink Floyd.
Ah. I don't even think we covered that one when we did that
No,
episode.
you didn't. You
Oh.
know, it was one of the main reasons I didn't want to do the Pink Floyd episode. I mean, for one, it's Pink Floyd, but the Division Bell and Momentary Lapse weren't on the list, and I couldn't do it without those 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, most people would think if he's taking Pink Floyd, it's going to be Dark Side or Wish You Were Here, but Pink Floyd has a tendency to put something on their album that just rubs me wrong.
Mm.
Number 8. Sometimes, even though I am married to my lovely wife and she likes the indie alt folk stuff, sometimes you just got to have big dumb rock in your life.
Hell yeah.
Just an album that can just go, where even the ballads are rippers. And this is a super group combining 2 of my favorite things. The above guest Guns N' Roses with Scott Weiland. This is Velvet Revolver and their debut Contraband.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you haven't listened to it because you hate GNR or Stone Temple Pilots, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Actually
The
agreed.
album can go.
I haven't listened to it a long time, but I remember when it first came out listening to it like basically just on repeat. I'm lucky enough I got to see them in 2007. They were at Virgin Fest, and
Mm,
yeah, they rip.
yeah, and you know they get a lot of crap for a disconnect between the Guns N' Roses part and the Stone Temple Pilots part, and they're like things don't match up. But for me, that's what makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
And number 9 is going to be this is the newest entry. Another one that's probably going to surprise some folks. This is 2016's Cleopatra by the Lumineers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, those guys can do some fantastic fucking storytelling.
Again, that's
And again, every song, you know, it's softer than you would expect from me. It's more cello and mandolin than you expect from me, but I can't deny it.
another band we haven't gotten there yet, but they've been bandied about a bunch. Just haven't gotten there.
Yeah, so I am excited for when we do get there so I can talk about these songs. The title track in particular, um, he based it on a taxi ride. He was talking to the cab driver and she was telling him her tragic story of her life. And that one, that one above the rest really hit me. I think the line right before they like really get into mashing their guitars. The only gifts from my Lord were birth and a divorce,
Mm.
but I read the script and the costume fits, so I'll play my part.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for songwriting. And that brings us up to number 10, and I saved this for last for a very specific reason. Um, my friend John F., if you are listening right now, you probably should stop. Um, and we're going to talk about grunge music and what defines it.
Okay.
Obviously, it's based in the Pacific Northwest. You're mixing punk metal with indie bands like Pixies and Sonic Youth. The lyrics are typically angsty, introspective, with themes of alienation, self doubt, neglect, betrayal, isolation, addiction, and on you go. But while this album checks every single one of the boxes, if you call it grunge, people will try to hit you. And the album is Live Through This by Hole.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
you did the episode, and I think you got a little lightened on them. Every song on this rips.
Fuck yeah.
Um, and I'm going back to that theme of when you get married, it affects your taste in music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kurt Cobain did not write this album, but being married to the lead singer, he obviously had influence on her life.
For sure.
So, I mean, the only actual contribution he had, he wrote a song that they chose not to put on the album because they wanted to be their own band. They didn't want to be Kurt wrote this. And he sang additional backing vocals on a couple of songs. But really, that was it. The rest of this was Courtney and the lead guitarist, Eric Erlandson. And so the album came out, unfortunately, like a week and a half after Kurt died.
Oh, I
So,
forget that part of the
and
history.
yeah, and she spent a lot of time being just crucified for being Kurt's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, Cobain was put on this pedestal, even though he wasn't always the greatest person. Someone had to take the blame
Mm-hmm.
for what happened, and she got the brunt of it. I mean, her and Dave Grohl were bitter feuding for 2 decades, and he was Dave Grohl's actually the only member of Nirvana that got into the thank yous and the liner notes.
Oh,
So, and yeah, we all know Courtney was a mess
yeah.
for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that gets lost in it is the bass player for Hole also died that year, also
Mm.
by an overdose.
Uh,
And that, you know, yeah, I think she was a wreck because you're supposed to be. Your husband dies, your bass player dies. I mean, those were within 2 months of each other.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, and because you're, considered the Yoko Ono of Nirvana, she had a lot of spotlight when she probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. A lot of negative spotlight when it
Exactly.
should have been positive on her music.
Yeah, or just given space to heal.
Yeah.
Related note, Billy Corgan did not write Celebrity Skin. Because I've heard that bandied about too.
Well, I know that he very much helped with that record. Like, I don't, that's, if it's not in the liner notes, they talked about it too. She went on his podcast. Was it this year? I haven't listened to it yet. I'm so far behind on podcasts, he says on his podcast. Um, but there's semi-truth to that. He definitely helped write. I don't know if he helped write, but he definitely helped with Celebrity Skin.
Yeah. He helped, and I think he did some production work on it or something like that. But everyone says everyone or someone else wrote every line of every song for her, and that's why she was popular. And it's okay to give women credit for songwriting.
And that's also
Eh,
true.
Of course, the second one was better than the first one because she was trying.
Mm-hmm.
You get better with practice. So, and one last thing I want to say about Courtney, um, she was about a decade ahead of her time. Um, she was asked, I think this was during the Comedy Central Celebrity Roast of Pam Anderson. Someone interviewed her that day, and they're like, do you have any advice for young women trying to break into music? And her response was, yeah, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party at his hotel, don't go.
Mm.
And that was like a solid decade before Me Too.
Wow.
And I mean, it also meant she didn't release another album for a decade, but
Yeah,
that's another story for another time.
for sure. Wow.
And that'll do it. I mean, I think I came up with an alternate for every song or every album on the list, and there's some good stuff on the cutting room floor, but that's outside the parameters, and I think we've probably exceeded our 10 minutes.
Well, I think you nailed it. Again, to me, like the fun of these is hearing how everybody comes to these records and how how they impact you and why they would make this list. So there is no wrong way to do this. Like anybody can do. Everybody has their own parameters. And then we can talk about it in the chat. And as long as you're respectful about people's choices, then we can have this discussion. Some people are going to agree with you, some people are not, and that's okay. Uh, it's a This is a great space for having these kind of conversations. It's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you sharing with us today, Anderson.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So with that, again, I don't know when this is releasing, so I'm gonna say we'll see you tomorrow, but it might be have a great weekend, it might be have a great day, whatever it is. I hope you have a great one. Bye.